making this. I mean, this. Come on, I'm really not that ambitious. If I look sick in the scripts, it's not because I took my makeup off to film an apology video. I actually am feeling unwell, but as I'm unable to let myself rest for a day and overworking myself to death seems kinda rewarding, we shall proceed. I start my process by lighting up a productivity candle like a good YouTuber that I am. I find decreasing the chances of me dying in a fire worth the aesthetics. Making a blueprint of this gun was sort of like tracing over illustrations from books when you were a kid. Teachers from elementary school told me it won't get me anywhere in life, and here I am. Like one time I traced a beautiful horse drawing that someone gave it to me, and I was so motivated to make people believe that I made it that I started teaching myself how to draw horses. Gold horses. But I digress. I scaled up my pattern, killed some trees printing it out, cut it out, and then lingered in silence wondering if life even has a meaning. I recorded and finished this gun like a month ago, and you're probably wondering what I was doing instead of making this video, and well, you see, I was very busy. I was working on myself, I started my own company, I adopted some cat orphans that just returned from war, I painted some clowns, and I bought metal straws to save dolphins. Well, that's only partial. Well, I guess it's only partially true. I accidentally tossed to trash my only reusable straw and I had a meltdown about it. So my boyfriend got me this, to stop me from crying. Over a fucking straw. Making prop guns is probably the easiest thing in cosplay you can do. It's like a big puzzle. I first decided what the base shape for my gun will be. That's the shape that I will just add stuff later on. Then I kept separating my pattern even more to add more and more stuff to it. For the round corners this gun has and all the bevels, I first cut out the excess using box cutter and then I used my Dremel. And I was too lazy to record me taking out or using the Dremel because I Dremel in my bathtub, so I didn't record that. I cut out next pieces, traced them on appropriate thickness of foam and glued onto the base. You get the gist. Sometimes it works out perfectly, sometimes I fuck up. Like here I forgot to add enough accommodation for the width of the gun to my pattern and I had to fix it later on. But you know, that's life. Let me tell you, she's been spoiled my own. Oh, the end of it I want to. Here's day one progress. Here we are in the cosplay table. Wait, at the cosplay table. Hold on, let me just get my massive plant out of the way so you can see better. There you go. This is where the magic happens. Okay, so what you'll need is some foam, something to cut it out. I'm using a box cutter, but you can chew it out if you're stubborn enough. And contact glue to glue it together. I'm not sure if your spit will work, but you can try. Let me tell you, I'm missing my own. Let me tell you what she said, my own. Oh, you best tell me to the max, my own. 'Cause you know I love the crash, my own. The end of it I won't do. The end of it I won't do. I'll get right back to you. I find it weird watching myself craft, because it looks like such a smooth and problem-free process, and in reality I know it's not. For some pieces it took me like a dozen times to get them right, because either my blade was too dull, my hands were too shaky, or I was just unstable as a human being. Either way, I'm literally cutting pieces of pattern now, tracing on foam and gluing in place. Fun fact, for the things that spawned the bullets, I used some PVC pipe and a cup for a marker. I then wrapped them in 2mm foam and added some details. Then I realized I cut out my base completely wrong and I had to reposition the rifles. Oh, They're called rifles. No biggie, just had a small crisis over that, spent some time contemplating if it's even worth fixing and will anyone see the difference, but then decided the anxiety will literally kill me when I stand if I leave it like that.
I'm my queen, my queen, my own. All them boys that try to ring my own. What them fools they don't know, they don't know my own. Only I can string her bow, my own.
Also, I cut out my PVC pipe so terribly it was all dangerous and ribbed, so I sanded the edge on some sandpaper. You could say it would be easier to do it before I glued it permanently to my gun, but you know, where's the fun in that? Yeah, and I forgot to press record when I was showing you my rifle, and then I actually pressed it thinking it would stop the recording. So here's a very important clip that lasts about 20 minutes before I realize it. And lastly, small details are my favorite to make, because at this point no one gives a fuck about them. I made the most of them using the thinner 2mm foam I had, and depending on how thick they looked on the reference images.
Told the morning sun, she's walking down the hall. She keeps asking why she looks so fine.
For the indented lines, I traced them with a very sharp blade and put some heat to them to open the lines up. I added some weathering using my Dremel and then filled some holes I had in the prop using quick seal and some water.
Moving on the dance floor.
Not sure what's worse in here, my camera focus or my choice of wardrobe for the painting part. Oh, there we go, I found the actually worst part, the transition. For the first time ever I decided to use plastic tip instead of flex bond or wood glue, and will I use it again? Probably not. This is how the primed gun is looking and time to paint it. I'm using brushes, sponges and an old sock to paint it with regular acrylics and airbrush colors. Oh, and oil paints for shading. There's nothing informative I can share with you regarding that, I can only draw horses now.
It couldn't get much easier. Where she's up above the sky. Oh no, she'll get you in trouble. It couldn't get much easier. Where she's up above the sky. Oh no.
Cosplay is usually very therapeutic to me, but before I moved on with any of my projects, I had to get one blocker out of the way. Recording this video, or more precisely, recording the voiceover. You know, the fun and smiley and chirpy voiceover that has lots of positive affirmations, that's at the same time quirky and relatable, but also informative, but also fun to watch and makes you feel better. And I don't know, YouTube has a lot of fucking rules. Don't get me wrong, okay? It's not like when you see me on YouTube or Instagram, it's a fake positive persona that I put on. I just choose to portray myself to the world when I'm at my best, and when I'm at my worst, I hide and I behave like a gremlin. And boy, it's not the best lately. Basically, world has turned to shit, and everyone seems to have a valid excuse to not sit in home and make costumes, because that's understandable. We have much bigger things to worry about. I don't know, maybe I'm just a selfish brat because I can't find a reason for me to feel this awful all the time, and yet I do. I mean, I'm familiar with depressive episodes, and I thought to myself, 3 to 4 days and I'll be good to go, just as usual. And then 3 weeks have passed. So I guess it's time to stop running away from the world, or social media, or whatever the fuck, like everything. Here's how the gun turned out.